a good part of that's going to come from the experience from doing that over and over again. But some of the ways to make it easiest to do that just begin with without the experience as like your first few times to have to adapt like that is from your practice and your mastery out here. Meaning, when you're practicing or when you're studying the game, when you're thinking about how am I going to play, what's my skill set and my ability going to be, what is it right now, what do I want it to be, and you're planning how you're going to practice, how you're going to study the game so you can evolve and get better, you have to also factor into that opposition and how you're going to need to adjust and adapt on the fly. A lot of times that's going to mean improvisation on the spot instantaneously. But the only way it becomes instantaneous and automatic is through practice. So if you're running drills out here to work on whatever skill set, sure, run the drills the way they're meant to be run, so the way they're laid out, but also every now and then start doing the drill the way it's meant to be drilled, but then improvise in the middle of it. Just change everything up right in the middle of the drill and do something completely different so that you're not just locked into doing that one set of moves over and over and over again. That is good and beneficial. It's the fastest way to get better at basketball, but drills don't factor in competition. They don't factor in opposition, people actively trying to make you change the path that you've chosen. So to deal with that, to get used to dealing with it in practice, is by just sort of in the middle of a drill, just breaking it and doing something completely different than the drill calls for. If you're practicing a specific move, a specific move set, where it's like a certain dribble move to get a certain shot off, and you practice it and you practice it and practice it, and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again to master that move set, that's good. But again, occasionally you're going to have to start doing that skill set, that move set, and break it and improvise something completely different on the fly, just to be used to doing that, so that in competition, when that happens over and over and over again on a regular basis, you're used to breaking patterns. So much about basketball is pattern recognition or pattern repetition. So you build in patterns through doing drills and workouts so you can master whatever move or skill set that is. And when we talk about pattern recognition, you recognize that those move sets, those skill sets in other players, so that you can then disrupt what they're trying to do. But just like you need to be able to build those move sets and repeat them over and over again to master them, you also need to do the inverse of that, which is like start the move set, but then break it somewhere in the middle and do something completely different, just so that you are used to doing that in practice, which means in competition, doing it is going to become that much easier, that much more natural and automatic when needed. So you have to plan to make plans. You have to get used to that process of making a plan, making a strategy, having goals and objectives out here that you're going to try to achieve and implement in game and in competition. But at the same time, you also have to plan to break those plans. You have to plan to improvise and evolve those plans when needed on the fly as your competition disrupts those plans.